You're about to learn how to make flavored honeys. All natural, super delicious, and very, very easy to make. This recipe here, I started creating for my store, The Light Cellar, years ago, and it was one of our top sellers. People loved it. We had cinnamon honey, ginger honey, lemon honey. We had all these different flavors. And eventually we ran into some regulations issues. Bottling honey is actually one of those things regulated by the CFIA. Too much for us to go through that process to get the clearance on that. So what I'm going to do now is share with you how easy and how simple this recipe is. You can craft it, make it in your own home, and it makes a perfect gift. Not to mention for yourself, just to have on hand. Add a little bit of extra flavor to whatever dish or tea that you can imagine. Of course, we do need honey as our base, so you go ahead, find a honey that you love, that you enjoy. I would suggest choosing what might be a wildflower honey or a clover, something very light, almost more of a neutral flavor versus some of the darker honeys. You can absolutely go that way, but a lighter, neutral honey just will allow the other flavors you're going to put into it to come out and stand out more and be more prominent. Next you're going to need is, especially if it's going to be a gift, you want to choose a nice looking jar. You can absolutely go the mason root method and adds a nice kind of homemade feel and touch to it. So you can pick whatever size you want. And you can either mix the honey straight into the jar, or what I used to do, I have a bowl. I do a big batch at one time, and then I'd pour that into each jar and do it that way. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix right into the jar and show you a method here. So I've got a 250 ml mason jar, and honey is literally 99.9% of the ingredients, and I'll show you a couple of different ways you can flavor it. So we're first going to pour that in, and maybe I'll do about 2/3 of the jar full of honey. We're going to add the flavor, we're going to stir it up, and then I'll just top it off to that right level that I want the jar to be full at. So here we go, we got our honey. Next you choose the flavor. Like I mentioned, we had ginger, we had cinnamon, we had lemon, we had a couple of other flavors. Those were our top 3, and you choose whatever you like. Now, a couple of different ways you can flavor it. The best way that we found was pure essential oils. Now, an essential oil allows you just to drop as little or as much as you want. Let's say you're going to do ginger. You want it to have that nice kind of bite and that fire to it, really spicy. You're going to add quite a few more drops than if you just want it, nice and subtle. The main thing here is you're adding it in. You're just going to add, taste, add, and you can always build up. So start with less and increase from there. When you're choosing your essential oils, I'm part of a network marketing. No, just joking. You choose whatever kind of oil that you have available that's a high quality. You'll never see it listed or labeled as edible or for consumption. Labeling laws and food systems don't allow us to say that. However, something like lemon is actually very safe to consume. It is from the pith or the rind, right? So if imagine you've got a citrus and you kind of break that skin and it shoots off like the zest, right? In there, that's where those essential oils come from. So things like orange essential oil, lemon, tangerine, all these ones are actually extracted through pressing it out if it's a high quality. Lower qualities, they might be using solvents, extractants. That's not what you'd want. So look for high quality, could be described as therapeutic grade. There's a different standards. Organic is definitely key. In that way, we have some at the shop. Blaine Andrusek, he's local to Calgary, and I love his quality. But there are many, many others out there that you can choose from. Living Libations is fantastic. As are some of the multi-level ones too. So here we go. Let's drop in, that was about 10 to begin with. Again, gonna depend on how much and how strong that flavor you like. So really it is, start small and add it in and just customize it to your own preferences, your own flavor choice. All right, so we just give it a stir. It's that easy. It's that simple. That flavor's now in the honey as I mix it up. All right, so let's have a little taste. Make sure we got that nice lemony flavor. It is fantastic. I know you're absolutely going to love these. So there's our lemon. Let me just top that up the rest of the way. Lemon honey. One perfect gift. Something for your own kitchen as well. We're going to put lids on that, decorate it. We can label it, make it really nice. Next one here, I'm going to add and do a cinnamon honey. So I've got a slightly smaller jar, 125 mils. Same method. We're going to pour in the honey about 2/3 of the way. Allow us to mix that in, and then we'll top it up the rest of the way. So again, same strategy. I'm going to use cinnamon bark essential oil, and I'm also going to add a little bit of powder. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cinnamon's going to have a little bit stronger, a little bit more spicy flavor. Fantastic. Great combination with honey. It actually helps lower and balance out your blood sugar. So could be a really good strategy there to add it in. You can, of course, add cinnamon powder. What you're going to want to do with the powder is don't add too much, because, you know, the beautiful thing about the essential oils is it mixes in very, very well. It doesn't separate out. However, if we add in a powder, it will eventually kind of come to the surface. So why I'm adding in cinnamon powder is it's optional. And what I'm going to do there is add in just a little bit. So it's going to add a nice little, you know, flecks of cinnamon. I've also done this with vanilla. Vanilla honey is another fantastic idea and recipe. And you add in just a little bit for it to kind of, you know, scatter it in there. Give it a little bit of color, again, some texture. And as it sits over time, it will come to the surface, which is why, you know, you wouldn't want to add a whole bunch. I initially had started flavoring honeys in that way by trying adding powders, but that all just kind of comes to the top, sits on the surface, and it doesn't stay well mixed in. So just a sprinkle, just cover to top, stir that in, it'll nicely be distributed. Same as with vanilla. So if you're going to do a vanilla honey, you drop in a little bit of vanilla extract, or you can actually get vanilla essential oil too. That works. A little bit of the powder, stir that in, and you're good to go. So let's have a little taste of this. That is fantastic. And of course, you probably noticed I didn't, you know, I used the same spoon from lemon to cinnamon. Just showing you here this little demonstration, not a problem. But of course, when you're making some and you're doing all these different flavors and batches, keep those flavors separate amongst your utensils. All right, there you have it. You are now about to be able to create your own herbal flavored honeys that are delicious, they're nutritious, and they make perfect gifts. Enjoy.